Yo, welcome everybody. Feels like it's been a minute since I've done the show. I don't know why I said it with that weird inflection on my voice. That sounded kind of like a Valley Girl style. We're going to get right into it today, guys. We're going to be predicting what is going to happen in 2025. What do you guys think of my new layout here? I completely and shamelessly stole this setup from the Spin. Brian Spin there. When am I getting a text? Hopefully in person. Can we chat after your show? Okay. Sorry, I'm running a couple. Do you guys like it? Do you guys like it? Change the mic. Thank you, Barry. Thank you. Fuck. There we go. No, I know. Dang it. I thought I had it all set up. Thank you, CrossFit. Wrong mic. Yeah, it's definitely did you forget to do laundry same shirt as last night? I didn't wear the shirt last night. Did I? I don't think I did. Okay, yeah, sorry, computer mic. It was all you like the green vibe, Natalie. Cool, thanks. Green's obviously my favorite color. All right. Thank you for helping me with the microphone. I spent so long trying to get all these little doodads set up, the visual of the background, all my sponsors. Holy crap. Isn't that crazy? By the way, if you guys go right now, tdcmercantile.com, you will get 15% off if you use code Souza. So, Magnus, maybe just the same color. Yeah, probably the same color. I only have one of these broken science shirts, so I don't think it was two. So you guys can see the topics along the right-hand, left-hand side. I don't know the way it displays on your guys' screen, but here's what we're going to be going through today. Games athletes boycotting the Open. Will they? Will they not? What'll happen? The World Fitness Project. I got a couple of DMs, people asking me like if I could break down kind of the business side of it, the economics, like what my thought process is on that. Although we have extremely limited information, of course, I'm going to speculate. And then we have Hiller to 100,000 subs on his YouTube in 2025. We also have Don as CEO. Still? Question mark. CrossFit sells. Wouldn't that be crazy? And then the CrossFit ecosystem grows. Brought to you by Two Brain Business. Remember, if you're predicting anything at life without measuring, without data, you're basically just a guy on YouTube making shit up. World Fitness Project. I don't know if that's the right acronym there, Magnus. Brett, what's up, man? How you doing? Dude, the thing please text me, the DM you sent me on the school platform. I'm super curious about that, and I would love to check it out. So please let me know. If Games athletes boycott the Open, will we simply have a new Games athlete? From Corey. Boom. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to base on the debate. Okay, cool. All right. So enough of my text messages. Now we're going to dive right into it. So if you guys haven't already and you want to buy olive oil or a really fancy freaking belt or anything else handmade by the Dave Castro, go to TDC Mercantile right now. Use code Souza15. It was still working this morning. I don't know if it is now. It's going to be a very temporary code. I think Grant or Keeping It Real or somebody was like, yeah, it still works. Maybe Dave doesn't know how to turn it off. So until Dave figures out how to turn it off, you guys better take advantage as you can. Of course, Media Launch is a sponsor of the show. So head on over. If you guys haven't gone to school.com /media launch, all the stuff for coaches, gym owners there, please do so. Or a shoelace. You caught that, CrossFit? As a skater growing up, it was always like a, shoestring shoelace belt. No one wanted to fall on a buckle. Kidding me? And then, of course, we have Matuthian. I really want to do some cool creatives, some media stuff, film some things with that while we're out in Arizona. And I'm curious to see if we could put some ad dollars behind some Matuthian and get it outside of the CrossFit space if it'll sell. I know it will because everybody loves a good tooth powder. Shout out to Media Launch. Yeah. Ken Walters. Dude, we're going to hang out, huh? Savon was telling me you're coming this weekend. That's awesome. I completely endorse getting one. It'll also be cool to hang out with you when I'm not. I mean, we're still working, but it's not as crazy as the games. So it's a little bit more low key, meaning I have more headspace and brain time to sit there, talk, and hang out. So, okay, 5 minutes on, we finally got the right microphone going. You guys, we all got the sponsors. Go over to tdcmercantile.com right now. Use code Souza15, see if it works. If we end up getting 10 orders, I think I'll be a permanent influencer of the Dave Castro. I think I'm the only one, too. I don't know if he's ever done a code for anybody before. Fancy that. And then Two Brain Business, they're not actually an official sponsor. I just threw them on there because if you are a gym owner, or if you're a coach and you guys don't go and watch the videos that Chris has been putting out on Run a Profitable Gym, it's the Two Brain Business YouTube channel. He does like anywhere between like 15 to 20-minute videos on there about different stuff that they're doing at his gym and the different things that Two Brain Business is doing. It is well worth the watch. Okay, so even if you don't own the gym, but you're a coach who really wants to be active and wants to contribute to your community, go check those things out. Between the intramural open, just some things that Chris was thinking about coming into the next year are really important for gym owners. All right, so diving right into it with no further ado, here we go. Games athletes boycott the open. Okay, so there's a caveat to this. Number one, who's gonna boycott it, right? Who? Let me get a soundboard. Scratch record. Who's going to boycott it? And then will it even matter? Will it matter? So my prediction on this is yes, I think we will see a few of these people boycott the CrossFit Open publicly, more than we already have. I think they're mostly probably going to come from athletes that are signed with guaranteed contracts from the World Fitness Project. Now, why do I think that? I think that some of them are doing this to make a statement. I think most of them are doing it with the hopes of an opportunity to continue to do what they love, which is compete at CrossFit and make some money doing it. But the ones that are signed, the ones that have guaranteed money, the ones that the agents worked out the thing and they signed the paper, I think we will end up seeing them publicly boycott. And why would they not? Their money's already guaranteed. Their competition seasons, they already got a place to compete. They already got a spot for their, to showcase their sponsors and the brands that support them. So I do think we will see some public boycotting of the Open in 2025. Now, the second portion to that is, will it matter? I don't think it will. And here's the reason why. I think that the way that I view this whole thing, and what I mean by the whole thing is like the athletes in the ecosystem, and they're kind of like figuring out what to do. Some of them are really like pushing against CrossFit, like, we're anti that because they don't care about us or we don't have a union. Some of them are kind of like the complete opposite. Like, dude, I want to go to the games because I want to be crowned the fittest on earth. And that's the only place that I could do that. And some of them sit in between and they let the crowd kind of sway them, meaning they don't really have that strong enough opinion, but they'll kind of do whatever. So the question is, will it matter? It won't, because I think a lot of these athletes that have a big following in the space, that are also most likely committed to the World Fitness Project, that have their guaranteed money, I don't think it matters. I just don't think so. And here's why. Not because those individuals don't matter, not because those individuals aren't special, but because the fact that there will always be new talent that'll come and take your place. Always. So even if you're very tip top of the sport, you have the biggest following and you think, okay, I'm out of here, there is going to be somebody else that'll come into your place. So the point that I was making, I view this whole thing as when you have an affiliate and you have a coach that does a lot of the classes, very well liked, very popular among the members. That coach then decides, you know what? The owner and I don't get along. I think we should do this. He thinks here at these Shanks, we should do this. I think I want it this way. They want it this way. And you know what? I'm just going to leave and start my own gym. This is very common in the CrossFit space, right? I attribute majority of that to, number one, either poor leadership as an affiliate owner. You don't have great communication with your members. You're not really understanding their vision, their goal, their long-term desires. So I put that on the affiliate owner. And then on top of that, I put that on the coach for mostly over-assuming their position. Now to the athletes. I think that the athletes are like this coach. I think that they run the space. I think that they have a lot more sway and a lot more influence than they do. So as they pack up their stuff and say, screw this, CrossFit didn't make the changes, the fuck, I don't even, there's so much different stuff in the space. I don't even actually really know what they want. So if you guys do, and this is, I'm not even being sarcastic here. If you literally understand what the athletes want and don't put Dave Castro fired, like, what do they actually want? And if you were to list that out, I just don't even know if they have that dialed in. Okay. So with that being said, it just reminds me exactly of that coach that takes, makes this big flare up, goes to the gym up the street, says they're going to take everybody with you. And what happens? Very few people go. You might get one or two members that also feel the same exact way as, that coach that's leaving. And then they leave and nobody else really wants to go. They're kind of like, all my other friends are here. I already know this gym. I know the other coaches. And all these things kind of come up, and they're more comfortable where they are rather than picking up their stuff and leaving. And remember, they're not nearly as motivated as you. So whether we're talking the coach saying, hey, I'm taking these members, I'm starting my own gym, and I'm doing this, those members aren't that motivated to follow you. And I believe that there is some sort of parallel between that particular coach and these athletes, meaning, hey guys, we're going to go do this. CrossFit isn't giving us what we want. We're going to head on over to this thing, whether it be Wadapalooza, whether it be Grid from the past, whether it be World Fitness Project now. And I think what ends up happening is not a lot of people follow. I think they overstate their importance. And in this season of the games, yeah, they're the most popular people, but you know what? In 2 years, that could all change. And just like at the CrossFit gym, that one coach goes away that nobody could see the gym running without. It was like, holy shit, how could we do it without person X? And a couple weeks go by and it normalizes, and 6 months go by. And by the end of that 6 months, no one even really fucking remembers that coach that left. Dang it, I swore and I said I wasn't going to do it. And so it's just overstating a little bit of the influence that you have in the space. And then saying, hey, we're going to do the same thing, reinvent the wheel, but we're going to do it over here our way. So to round out that prediction, yes, there will be a few people that will boycott the Open publicly. Yes, I think most of them will have guaranteed contract money or won't necessarily need any of the money that they could extract out of the CrossFit season. Part two, will it matter? It won't. In the short term, maybe a little. In the long term, assuming CrossFit HQ keeps the CrossFit Games intact, it won't matter. It won't matter. Oh shit, Tyler's here. Dang it, dude. Okay, I said this at the beginning of the show. I completely stole the whole entire spin background. As you probably know, as soon as you clicked in and checked that out. All right, so moving on here. So that's the prediction for the Games Athletes boycott in the Open. Here we go. World Fitness Project. Okay, so I was going to screen share a couple things, but I realized that with my overlays and the way I have this set up, I didn't create a spot for a screen share. So I'm not going to do it and screw up my whole entire background. But there was a post. Okay. Is Tyler the new help? And no. Don't you ever do that to my boy. Janine, what's up? I think it looks good. We didn't trademark it. And even if you did, sue me, bitch. Okay. So Souza 15 is good. All right, guys. So go over to the TDC Mercantile. If you've been putting off buying that $125 belt, you might as well just go ahead and do it now, son, and pay $118 instead. Oh, good question, Matt Burns. Okay, we did move on from the Games athletes boycotting the Open, but how many boycott from the US? Very few, probably more in Europe. That's a great thing with that. No, Colin, I have a question. Dude, damn it, Jethro. Okay, so I had the number. Truth be told, I had to pay for the number like a weekly thing. And then nobody ever really called in, and I was like, I'm not gonna pay for this number to have it anymore. So sorry, there's no question. If it's short enough, put it in the comments and I'll dig in. I'll get that set up later, but none right now. So World Fitness Project. Okay, so the first thing that comes to mind about this whole entire thing could be summed up in one post that I saw. Okay? It was one of the posts, I think Brian Spin put it up, and it was like the picture of like the Gillette family. And I'm pretty damn sure they have nothing to do with the razors, Gillette razors. I'm pretty sure. But it was a picture of the Gillette family. And it said like the World Fitness Project, right? And like one of the very first comments underneath that was from Matt O'Keefe. And it said, they are great people. And then I think like Alex Gazan or somebody like that commented right underneath and was like, I second this. What does that have to do with anything? And this is something that frustrates me a little bit when we're looking at things that happen and change in the ecosystem, because sometimes people conflate the fact that if I get critical, and I'm just going to use myself as this example here, if I get critical about something, like let's say the World Fitness Project in this example, that if me being critical about it or me speculating on the outcomes or whatever the case may be, my opinion on the thing, somehow that means that I'm directly giving my opinion of the people who own it. That is not true. And Tyler, who's listening to this, and John Young, like when these guys give their opinions on the athletes, especially John Young, and he's like, so-and-so's not going to do great at this. They're going to blow up. This is a terrible event for them. They're probably going to get last of the pack. Like a lot of the athletes start to then conflate and say, John Young says I suck as a human being and as a person. And that couldn't be further from the case. It's like, no, we're basically giving a prediction about this particular event, not you as a human. So when you go into that post and you see it right off the top, and it's like, oh, World Fitness Project, here's the owners of it, and the first people come jumping right away. They're great people. It's like, okay, nobody was questioning the integrity of them as humans, as parents, as people. It has nothing to do with that. It just more or less has to do with like, hey, how do we feel about this new thing coming into the space? And the reason why I could say that sums up a lot of the conversation around the World Fitness Project is because that's where the conflation happens. It's not about, is the thing going to be successful or not? And if it's successful or not, does that attach to the people that are behind it? It's like, no, you could separate that. And with affiliate owners, and I know this to be true because Brett, I know, is in the comments. He's an affiliate owner. There is times when you have a bad month or you have a situation happen and the only thing you think is, damn, I suck. Like these people, this person left my gym, or this happened, or monthly revenue was down again another month. Like I suck, right? And it's like, no, you as a human probably don't suck. Whatever your systems are, whatever metrics you're looking at or not looking at, like those type of things suck. Those need improvement. Nobody's necessarily talking to you or about you as a human being. Okay, so please, anybody who's listening to this from the World Fitness Project, I doubt they do, but if you were, please know that it is nothing to do with you. I'm sure you're wonderful people. I would be super stoked if you invited me to your house for like dinner or something, whatever. I heard the house is amazing, so I'd be glad to. This is my wife. Should we answer it online? Obviously. Hi, babe. I'm doing the show. You're live on the air.
Yep. Talk to you later.
Okay. Look at that. Oh, God. Ah. And then dropped it. Okay. So, prediction on the World Fitness Project. We have grid. We have no, I don't hate John Young. That was in defense of John Young. But, Jake, what are you talking about? Basically, Souza hates John Young. No, not at all. That was like, I literally was using him as an example because he does give oh my gosh, if she watches this back now, you guys, and sees she ain't Sevon's wife, she was not excited. She hates when I do that too. She hates when I answer the phone. I'm live. So that's why. No, I was not, no, I was in defense of John Young, basically saying like, if, oh, I got it. Don't you set me off. I'm going to finish that anyways. Jake, I'm going to finish that anyways. That if he's giving an opinion on a prediction of an event or something like that, that doesn't have anything to do with the actual person. He's not saying like, I hate this person. He's saying, here's my prediction at this person's event. So Judy, hi. Hello. Jake's stirring the pot. Yeah, it was. Watch out, Souza. John Young will block you on the spin cast. No, he won't. No, he won't. I fucking love John Young. Are you kidding? Get out of here with all that. So we have the grid league. we've seen what happened in the past. And the thing is that with the grid league, just as an outside perspective looking in from that whole thing that had happened, it just looked like they tried to go too big too fast. We thought because we had this explosive growth within our own community and it was rapidly expanding, that this meant that we could jump the chasm, as they say, and go to mainstream. And that everybody else who hadn't been exposed to CrossFit in their affiliate or through some other means is somehow going to see this on ESPN or is going to see it on CBS, I think is what they had it at the time, CBS Sports, and is going to say, I'm so interested in this, I'm going to invest my time into watching it. That's a hard move to make with fast thrusters. It just is. And this is why we go back to talking about the affiliate being so important, is because when people participate and they understand the workouts that are going on and they're kind of evolved and they maybe even see people locally that are going to compete, that is what excites them to turn on the TV and invest in the time. NBC Sports. Thank you, CrossFit. And so if you like, it's hard to say, hey, we're just going to develop this and plop this in front of people and then hope that that brings in attention. It's really tough. And it's a hard thing to do. So the strategy around how you're going to execute that, and more importantly, how you're going to garnish attention and point it at that, is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And if we look at grid, we saw that there was a lot of expansion, a lot of growth, a lot of money being thrown around, and it folded as fast as it came up. Now it's still surviving. Like you guys see it around now, but truth be told, if John Young wasn't involved in it, I wouldn't have even known that it still existed. So, take that for what it is. And I feel like I'm relatively connected to the CrossFit space, or the, whatever we want to call it now, the functional fitness space. So I think that the World Fitness Project, although probably has more established of a base than the grid dig, because it's just more time has gone on, more people are aware of what's happening, there's just more of it. I think that helps their case a little bit. And I think the fact that they have a ton of the big names in the space helps their case a little bit. The issue is going to be long-term, what is this going to look like? And will it survive? And that's where it gets tough. And obviously, I do not have any access to any financials or how much money these people are willing to invest. But I could tell you this. When I was watching the show with Pedro and they had said it was Jackson who was on it. By the way, just as a side note, was he wearing eyeliner in that interview? Nothing wrong with it. Whatever. I don't care. Guy looked good, but just couldn't tell if he was wearing I couldn't tell if he was wearing eyeliner or not. Anyhow. So they were claiming like, hey, we got some really good people that are invested in the space and really want to see it grow and want to create opportunities. Awesome. Love it. That only lasts for so long. You're only going to put so much money into something before you want to see a return, just to even make it self-sustainable. Like, let's just say literally they're like, hey, we don't want to take a dime from this. We were so successful in other companies that we're actually using a lot of this as a write-off. Okay, so let's say that's the case. Well, if that is the case, that's only going to be for so long. At some point, they're going to want to bring in big money behind it. They're going to want to be able to make some sort of profit, or at least start to pull back their ownership so other people could get involved, so it doesn't just economically fall on them. And that's where I think we're going to have a little bit of trouble. It's hard to get other people excited about this space. I mean, Wadapalooza has been doing it for a long time, and it's a struggle each year. Like working with some of those event coordinators, they're doing everything they can to try to keep those events to survive and to keep them going. And the money is tight. The money is tight. Pay salaries to self. Tax write-off. There's your financial advice from CrossFit. The guy who went from starting a charity gym to a profit league. Sus. Yeah, no comment on that just because I don't know. Guyliner. Thank you, Augustus. I just couldn't tell at first. Like I was tripping off of it. I was just like, is it? Anyhow. Good looking dude, but whatever. Janine, make the regional model great again. People come out and watch and cheer on their friends. 100%. I mean, you guys have heard me talk about this, and the reason why I thought NorCal Classic was so awesome is because it had that local feel, but you still got to see the top of the sport compete. It's the best of both worlds. I got some really good high level competition, and I also get to kind of like be around all the local affiliate owners, other people that I know in the space that I don't get to see that often. So it's like a really cool kind of like gathering and party as well. So, Brian, sorry, why can't you do both charity and for-profit ventures? Absolutely can. Absolutely can. I think what CrossFit was getting at is like it started as a charity, then moved to something for-profit, not like two separate entities. But either way, Brian, I agree with your sentiment there. Jenny, what's up? Excited to get to see you too this weekend. It's his in-laws funding it, and he's no more than 25 with zero life experience. I'm not confident. I wonder how much he's actually running it. Like, is he like chief operations or like CEO of it? And then the other thing I would say about the 25 with zero life experience. I mean, I guess I had some life experience, but that's when I started the affiliate. Screwed a lot of stuff up though too. So I guess to your point, you're actually correct, Jenny. I was gonna say like, oh, it worked out for me, but I was like, actually, no, yeah, it barely worked out. I screwed up a lot of shit. Okay. So that's kind of my prediction on the World Fitness Project. I do think they could do something with it. I'm curious about their strategy. And I do think that if you look back at proof of concept, it's going to take a lot of capital to get this thing off the ground. And I don't know how long that runway is for them to fund it. Is it going to be one season? Is it going to be 2 seasons? Are they just funding it for proof of concept? And then once they have proof of concept and they could tighten up on their deliverables, are they going to go shop it to their investors? I don't know. But it'll be interesting to watch. So my prediction on it is I think they'll have a pretty decent first go around with this, but long term, I do think the World Fitness Project is going to struggle to stay afloat. And I'm just basing that off of every type of event in this space struggles to stay afloat, especially if you do not have a good relationship with brands and a solid strategy on how you're going to sell tickets, garner attention, and hold it. All right. So that's the prediction. Franco, it's the new grid league. It seems to be that way. Jake, it's the XFL of CrossFit. It may fail, but it'll come back and try again. Can't fault them. Yeah, I agree with that statement. Like, I think that if they're passionate about it and they think that like they could go off and do their thing with it, then more power to them. And if anything else, it'll just help continue to grow the whole entire ecosystem as a total, which is a net positive. So, okay, let's move on. Hiller to 100 subs on YouTube. Is this an easy prediction right now? I think he's just over 51,000. Absolutely incredible. We're really starting to see what Hiller could do with that Rebecca Folo video. It's like, holy shit, right? And again, I would like to just remind everybody that it's literally just him. It's literally just dude in his garage with his camera making it happen, right? So my prediction is going to be real short and sweet with the Hiller to 100K subs. I'm going with a yes. That sounds mean. It's going to happen. I think we will see some pretty big growth from Hiller this year in YouTube. And I also think that the World of Fitness Project and all these other things that are happening in the ecosystem will definitely help to pump to get him there. You guys probably saw online, I think they posted some stuff with him with Alexis Raptis. So who knows? That could be another monster video. I mean, the Rebecca Folo one was at 160, something like that. And so that's just freaking awesome. So I think we're going to see more and more of that come from Hiller. And I think he will make 100K subs this year. And typically what you see with YouTube growth is like that first 1,000 is really, really tough. Then once you get to 1,000, it's a little bit easier to get to 10K. Then once you get to 10K, you could start to get things moving. And Hiller obviously up over 51 now. I really think that this thing will continue to roll downhill for him. And I think he's just going to pick up more and more steam. Also, too, homeboy is strategic. I mean, I think he stopped swearing on his YouTube channel like a year ago, maybe even longer. His ability to hook in an audience and hold attention as he makes the cuts in the videos and stuff like that, it's only going to continuously improve. And so I think we will see some really big videos from Hiller this year that will push him towards 100 subs. And I'm going to make a bold prediction that January this time next year, 2026, he will have 100 subs. Okay, thoughts on that? Brett, I'm at like 64. Awesome. You're almost there too, dude. Just keep going. You met Erica Folo. Oh yeah, did I say Rebecca Folo? My bad. Yes, Erica Folo. Sorry. Erica, not Rebecca. Yeah. Sprague mentioned he reached out to Hiller to come film him too. See, that's the interesting thing. I have honestly no clue how Hiller decides who he picks. I'm pretty sure more or less it's like who he's interested in and who he feels like he has a good communication and relationship with. But I don't know how he picks who he picks. But yeah, I could definitely see him. Who is a person that we were just talking about? Damn it, I just forgot. Oh, going after Sprague. I could definitely see him doing that, but I could also see more and more athletes reaching out to him. And if there's one thing I'm pretty certain about Hiller is if he feels that he's being pushed towards something or being asked of it too much, he will just not do it. I've seen that happen in real time. So, if you're an athlete, take your shot because obviously that could really push you into the limelight, even if you're already there. But who knows if he'll actually take you up on that. NorCal Classic has been moved to June and is now a qualifier of the games per spin. Is that breaking news? Damn, nice graphics. Oh, shit. Brian, these graphics, by the way, are completely original. They definitely didn't come from your show at all. So there we have it. Prediction for Hiller to 100K subs. The answer is yes. That's going to be a winner. I think he's going to make it there in 2025. Or you click subscribe and you occasionally watch. I don't know what that means. Copier. It's called poser, dude. Poser, not copy. Copier. What the fuck? Like 50? Copier. Poser. Get it right. Yes, NorCal is official. Okay. All right. There we go. Dad's here. Where? I don't see him. Okay, so this one is about to get crazy. Had a better laugh track. No, that's not the button. Okay. Dawn as CEO. Also, too, these were listed in the order that in a sequence on purpose, okay? Because the games athletes boycotting is going to also help move people or attention to World Fitness Project. And then those two things happening and the changes in the ecosystem will help Hiller get more content out there, which will help push him to the 100 subs, okay? Now, I have Dawn as CEO first, and then CrossFit Sells as second. And then we're just going to finish up with the CrossFit ecosystem grows. Dawn as CEO. So Dawn's been CEO now for what? Oh, yes. LOL, you would say power. Poser. Yeah, you know I would. Come on, I skated standy all throughout high school. You're either going to be a Hesher or a poser. You should know this. Okay, so Dawn as CEO. So here's the interesting thing. If we go and look up, and I don't want to share. What the hell? I'm getting messages on LinkedIn. Never got that before. Boom, boom. Let's look this up. I really want to get this part straight because I want to. Okay, because if you look at a lot of these CEOs that are hired on, right, usually the window is pretty short. Like 5 years would be like the max. And he is getting close to that now. So it's been 2 years and 6 months. August of 2022 is when he came on. Okay, so now if we look at some of these, it's been like 6 years. He spent about 2 years, 9 months at Pinterest, about 4 years at Facebook there. He was in Google for about 1 year and 8 months. Okay. So we're getting pretty close to right about that time where we might see him exit. Now, if you guys watch the show, when I talked about the new CEO, excuse me, the new CFO that CrossFit hired rather silently. There wasn't not a lot on it. But that gentleman has a very specific set of skills. A lot of it we saw was like Chapter 11 bankruptcy and like a restructure of a balance sheet, meaning trying to clear off some of the debt of the company and just reframe it so that way they could hopefully start to get out from underneath a lot of the debt and liability that they carry and get back to some sort of profitability. Now, that CFO could also be helping kind of brought in to package this up to sell the whole entire thing. So will we see Dawn as a CEO in 2025 to finish out this year? I don't know. And here's the thing. I think my prediction here we go. This is going to be the one. I think that Dawn's connection with Berkshire Partners and what he was hired to do specifically was be CEO of this thing as they just kind of stabilize and then sell it off. I don't even know at this point that growth in terms of what they need is on the table anymore. I think that as they got their hands wrapped around what this thing CrossFit is, and they have had a slew of different CEOs brought in, a slew of different CFOs brought in, a slew of different CMOs brought in, they're really struggling to try to get their hands wrapped around this thing and figure out what the hell to do with it. And we could see this struggle because if you just ask the fundamental question of who is your customer and what do you sell, I think we start to see a little struggle there. And I think that's been a little bit for CrossFit. I don't think this is something brand new, but in terms of like, if you're going to look at it as a business, like one of the fundamental questions you have to ask is like, who's your customer and what do you sell? And are you selling to the right customer? Right? Like those are pretty much it. And so if we look at it, CrossFit HQ now has at least like the website in and of itself.com. I think that it looks more like lead generation, and their function, HQ's function, is starting to look more and more like the function of how an affiliate should operate and not has somebody growing the ecosystem should operate. And so that to me is just a little bit concerning on two things. Number one, just their strategy in general. But number two, it just makes me question, like, who are you going after? Like, who is your target customer? You, CrossFit HQ, who is your target customer? Is it affiliate owners? Is it selling certifications? Or are you running an event? Like, what exactly is it? Now, if you tell me all three, I'm going to tell you don't have a priority. Because you really need to continue to dial down on exactly like who is your customer, who is your audience, and what do you sell them. And so it's been a struggle for Berkshire to kind of figure that out. And I think they brought Dawn in to help with that, but I also think his pedigree kind of pacified the audience a little bit. Us as CrossFitters, he came in with this like military experience. He kind of came in with his intro from Dave. And he was really like forward facing. He was really like, you know, he was able to listen to everybody. He was taking a lot of this criticism and stuff like that. So at first we're kind of like, okay, cool. This dude's willing to stand in front of the firefight, and he's also willing to take in a bunch of information. Let's see what happens with it. And now I think that as we're moving on to the third year of it, and we haven't seen much. We haven't seen much, at least nothing that's been extremely impactful. And he's almost kind of faded to the background. So for me, I'm just thinking like, okay, cool. So two options. Either we will see him exit this year or we will see him in CrossFit be sold as one. Now, there'll be two different things that'll happen. Obviously, if CrossFit sells, we'll know it. We'll know exactly why Don was brought in and what his skill set was and why he was there, or at least how that changed since they brought him in. And if we don't see that sell, I think we might see him be removed as CEO. And for me, and we're transitioning to just a personal thing here, I cannot stand weak leadership. I cannot stand it. And just to clarify around what weak leadership means is if you're forward facing and you're responsible for a company, you need to be very clear on what is your intentions, what is your decision, and be okay with everybody else on side A versus side B not liking it. Okay, so what I mean by that is, hey, I hear you guys. This is the decision we made. These are the reasons we made this decision, and this is the direction we're going. Some of you guys aren't going to be happy with that. We understand. Forward movement. This whole entire, I want to please this, or I'm going to please this, or I'm just going to say a bunch of stuff for lip service that just basically sounds like a lot of fluff. So that way you can't really pin me down to exactly what I said, is how I define weak leadership. Because if you just make a decision, we're going here, we're doing this, and we're headed this direction. As a leader, if that direction fails, if it didn't work out the way you thought it did, or the plan didn't execute, you also have to stand back up in front of that same audience and say, I failed us. This is the direction I decided. This is the direction we went. Here was our strategy. It didn't work. And then you just kind of take it, right? And then say, okay, we're getting our shit back together and we're going to go ahead and try it again. And I just don't know if we've seen a lot of that unless he's been pushed into it. Now we'll go to strong leadership, which would be, in my opinion, of this example, Dave Castro here, which I was able to have access to the athlete warm-up area during the games. I watched as Dave stood there after the tragedy and stood right in front of every single athlete and said good morning, shook some of their hands, gave some of them hugs that he was closer with. Like I watched him do it. I did not see Don down there until the last day, and it looked like they had to kind of cart him out and make him do it. So there's two things. Either he is okay with fading to the background because there's other stuff going on that we're not aware of, or it's just weak leadership, or a combination of the two. And here's the thing. Once you start going down the path of pleasing everybody, I mean, think about it, dude. Jesus couldn't even do that. He couldn't even please everybody. You think you stand a chance? No way. Decide who your customer is, decide what the culture is, and move in that direction. So, prediction as Don as CEO, there'll be two things. I don't think he makes it out of 2025 as a CEO unless CrossFit sells. That's going to be the final call on that one. Okay. Now, there was a lot of discussion about the Don CEO one, which kind of just blurred the lines of like, if is CrossFit going to sell or not. So my prediction on that is like, we're coming up now on the 5th year. Again, looking at Berkshire Partners, they've had a bunch of people in there, a bunch of companies in their portfolio. I would say if you had to put like a mean on it, meaning, or like an average of like from the time they bought to the time they sold the company, I would say it's probably right around 5 years. Some of them are 3, some of them are further out, closer to like 7 years. But I would say like it's getting close to that time where Berkshire for sure will be accepting or considering offers. Again, I don't have any information to the back end of any of all this, or where they are on their, capital runway, what that balance sheet looks like, or anything. So just kind of from the outside looking in and just predictive value on the timelines that Berkshire has been doing stuff, the timeline that of Don is existing in different companies in his roles, then bringing in of the new CFO. These kind of breadcrumbs are leading me to believe that they do have a buyer. Now, I have no evidence to back this up whatsoever. This is totally just speculation. But as I kind of look backwards at those things, to me, it seems like they're positioning themselves for a sell. Now, the interesting thing is, when would they announce that? Now, you would think maybe, hey, we're not going to announce that necessarily in between this game season because there's just a lot of stuff kind of going on or in the works. But maybe that doesn't matter. Or maybe the people who are purchasing it, the company, the person, individual, the next private equity, I have no idea. But maybe that entity is more interested in the sport than they are in the totality of affiliates in training revenue. And I think if you had the right people, similar to like what I was saying with the World Fitness Project, and you had the right strategy, the right media strategy in place, the right investors, and the right runway of capital, you could probably do something in that space. But it would be really tough. It would be really tough. So it seems to me like CrossFit at least has a serious consideration for a buyer. And these things take a long time to acquire a company that size. We saw it when Greg sold it, and that shit was on like hyperspeed steroids. I've never really heard that much of companies like that with private equity coming in and just buying it that quickly. That's pretty unusual. Usually the due diligence in that process lasts like a year. So anyways, if that's the case, we probably have somebody that CrossFit is courting now. They're probably moving some of these players in the right positions, like the CFO, and starting to dial things in. So that way they could say, okay, all right, this is ready. Now, the major thing in what they're dialing in, to me, is the full year on the affiliate fee raise. So if you guys remember last year, they announced that they were going to raise in 2024. A lot of affiliates had a really long runway, and then that ran out, mine included in that. And then you had to go for the next, you had to pay whatever the raise was, right? So right now they know how many affiliates stayed with the pay jump, how many left. And that's going to give them a much stronger indicator of stabilizing revenue. So what I mean by that is like they already kind of shook the tree and saw which affiliate owners fell out and which ones stayed. And now that, with what little predictive value you could use with that, you would say, hey, the ones that stayed most likely will stay for at least another year, if not two. And so what that does is if I'm a private equity buyer and I come in and I look at CrossFit, I'm going to say, hey, there's no way I'm buying this. These fees are too low and we don't have any stabilization on revenue because we don't have a great system that takes payments from affiliates, and we can't really predict if they're going to stay with us or not. That would be an issue. After this full year of the affiliate fee raise and them saying, hey, we had this many at the start of the raise, this many stuck with us, they're paying now more of this. That shows that there's a stabilization in revenue and that they were able to increase the average revenue per customer. In this case, they're affiliate owners, and therefore it makes it look a little bit better to sell. Now, long-term wise, whoever buys it should definitely have a plan in place. But yeah, it just makes it look a little bit better. Yeah, own flag. They're just making the books look better to sell. Definitely could be. Definitely could be. I would argue that this group believes in the sport more so. Oh, like the executives that are running it? Yeah, I mean, it's attractive, right? There's a lot of media coming out of it. Like, it seems like it could really catch fire and you could get this kind of explosive, new sport out of it. But it's tough. Bring back own flag. Bring back turning sevens into tens. Seriously. Private equity, Freeman Spaguli bought my friend's Pat Galen company, Galen Sports and Outdoors, and I worked for in 2001, trimmed the fat and all the things they could do, and sold the Dick's Sporting Goods in 2004. Dude, so Ken knows what this process looks like. And when you come in and do something like that, it's like private equity's kind of kicking the tires. They'll usually say, hey, we're looking at this, 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 and this. And then you kind of go back and say, okay, well, I could solve those problems. We could put better systems in place. We could decide if we're keeping this or letting it go, or how do we grow certain things? Because that's exactly what they want to do, is they want whoever's going to buy it come in and say, okay, cool, you guys got a lot of awesome stuff rolling with this. And we do believe that there is more growth to be had here. Oh my gosh, Kenneth. Yeah, bought Dunder Mifflin. The Office is a great show. One of the last shows I've watched in a long time. Tama Bravo bought my company. I can't complain since I was ready for retirement and live off the wife. Cool. Okay, so that's the prediction here. Is I do think that we will hear rumblings or even the potential sell of CrossFit this year in 2025. I do think that by 2026 comes around, CrossFit will have a new owner. So whatever that's going to entail, I don't even think, like, a lot of people are like, yeah, get them out. Let's get somebody else in new. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Sometimes the devil, right? Devil, All right. So the last one on our list of the Two Brain Business 2025 CrossFit space predictions is going to be, does CrossFit ecosystem grows? CrossFit ecosystem grows? Question mark. So this is an interesting question here, right? Because how do you grow the ecosystem? How do you get, like, what is the catalyst to motivation for an individual that sees something like CrossFit and says, I am going to sign up and pay money and go do that thing? Now, a lot of people would have said, oh man, the marketing is like, I saw it on ESPN. Well, fuck, how many of you guys even still watch ESPN? I don't even watch ESPN. But people that saw the games at ESPN, and that was a catalyst for them to get off the couch and go into the gym or do whatever the case may be, right? And here's the thing. I was talking about this in a show I did a while back, and I was saying that like there was a certain novelty to watching the CrossFit Games athletes. There was snatches, there was overhead squats, there was rope climbs, there was all this shit like handstand push-ups that we knew existed out there, but we never really saw it at that level, and we didn't see it as something done normally inside gyms. It was like, who the hell does any of that stuff? So a lot of that stuff was new. It caught the eye of even people just kind of walking by. And I remember when I was bartending at Black Angus that I used to work at on like Sundays at like 10 a.m. when there was no sports on or something, the CrossFit Games would play. And that caught a lot of people's eye at the time. It was like 2012 then probably. And they would like walk by and they kind of see it and they see like, Rich Froning doing a GHD or doing an overhead lunge with a barbell. And people are like, holy shit, like, what is this? What the hell is this? What are these people doing? And now that fast forward 13 years, I would say the general public knows what it is or is aware of it enough to know. Meaning anybody who would see that and that would strike curiosity and motivation in them has probably already come across that. And it's been really interesting running the academies, the fire academies, because from 2000, and this is just a short period of time, so it'd be nuts if I had run these earlier to see the difference. But even from 2000 till now, when I go and I do the movement assessment and I watch the recruits squat, we watch them hinge, and then I watch them overhead press or they're just their overhead movement, right? A lot of them now know how to squat quite a bit better than the people that I had in the earlier years. And that's just kind of a generalization, right? And so what's the point? What am I getting at here? The point is that it's not as novel and it's not as new. We see people now in 24-hour fitness doing snatches. There's a whole entire freaking, functional fitness room. So that kind of appeal or like curiosity as the catalyst for motivation to go and try CrossFit, I think it's ran its course. So what does that mean? It means there needs to be a different approach. And right now, when we really see a lot of this stuff with like the Make America Healthy Again movements, a lot of these things becoming more popular with the Cali means and the Hubermans and, the this and that, and optimizing and the bio, yada, yada, yada. The space is now really primed to doing a workout regimen like CrossFit that would deliver exceptional results to make the most amount of change on your health in the shortest amount of time. And by your health, we mean your metabolic metrics and everything that falls under our wellness, fitness, wellness, sickness pendulum. And so as more people are becoming more in tune with like, hey, my health is my personal responsibility. I want to start experimenting with myself. I want to get around with a group of people experimenting with myself, experimenting with my diet and doing certain things like that. And I want to do it around a group of like-minded people. And I want to do it with somebody who's knowledgeable that's going to help me along the way. I think that the masses, so to speak, quotation marks in the air, are more primed to be curious and interested in that than they are fast thrusters. And I just think it's because if we look at the ecosystem of the US in general, ever since COVID, people are way more in tune with the information that's being given to them about their health. They're way more open to the fact that they have to take their health into their own personal responsibility. And I think that as CrossFit affiliates, and one thing that we talk about all the time in the school platform, which Layla, I forget her last name. Sorry, Layla. But she even mentioned, she's like, I don't sell a fitness program. I sell a coaching program. And for me, it was like, oh shit, that's it. That's the thing, right? So health, accountability, like-minded people, and coaches. And I think that if I were head of CrossFit right now, that would be my focus. And the good news is I have a lot more influence right here with Metfix. And one of the things that I'm most excited about in terms of the CrossFit ecosystem growing is exactly what's going on over at Broken Science and what I'm privileged enough to be involved with Metfix. Because everything that I just talked about is exactly the direction and the vision that Broken Science has. And the Metfix is really just an answer to that call. Because once you have the Broken Science, you basically have to send those people, hey, wow, Broken Science is getting a lot. It's like a publishing company, right? So there a lot of the videos, a lot of the books that are out there, we're catching a lot of attention. I mean, all the stuff that Emily and the team has worked on over this last year, you guys are going to all start to see a lot of this stuff that's been behind the wall as it's being worked on come out this year in 2025. And I think it's going to start to catch a lot of attention. And when it does, you want to be able to point at an academy that does what they're telling people to do. And so that's why I'm super excited to be a part of that and continue to contribute in every way that I can. Because for me, that is the direction, and that is how you grow the CrossFit ecosystem. And Greg created CrossFit, the creator of CrossFit. That body of work that he put in laid the foundation, in my opinion, for the tipping point that we're at now. We've had this massive growth of CrossFit along with the CrossFit Games. Some would say the games outshotted the other thing, yada, yada, right? And then at some point, you need to kind of make a divide and say, hey, or as Greg would say, the demarcation between sport and lifestyle methodology. And I think that MetFix and what they're doing at Broken Science is that demarcation. And the education that will continue to come out of Broken Science with the classes on diabetes, the math classes that they're going to have, Greg's seminar, which is going to have the first of its kind this weekend, the MetFix seminars that we're going to be doing with nutrition and some of the stuff with movement. Like all of these education things are going to continuously build. And I honestly think that it will help the CrossFit ecosystem grow in a different way than sport. But I do think that there's still a shitload of growth opportunity in the CrossFit ecosystem. And you don't need to take my word for it. Just go test it. Go outside, walk down your downtown neighborhood, find some random people, interrupt their day, and ask them, hey, do you know what CrossFit is? Are you currently doing a fitness program that's focused on health? I guarantee you, it would be really surprised to walk down the street and find a handful of people that can answer those things. Excited for the Daily Fix release, Jason Miller. I was hoping to have some examples for you guys. We're not quite there yet, but the Daily Fix is going to be a daily blog that gives articles that Emily and Greg are working on or thinking about or whatever. It also is going to give meal plans, and there'll be some workouts. And the workouts are going to be programmed by someone who you know intimately, but you don't know at all. Meredith, plenty of pie for everybody. Not only that, Meredith, to that point, everybody who's been involved in this ecosystem for as long as we have, it's our responsibility to grow the pie. And that's how I view myself, is I would like to view myself as a contributor, somebody that continues to grow the pie over a long period of time, and somebody that is only focused on having the affiliates be crazy, crazy successful. It's like the mission that I kind of have, and one of the mantras that I put down for myself for 2025 is no broke affiliate owners. Ambitious goal because it's pretty much impossible to accomplish. But if there's things that I could contribute, if there's a place where other people who are more successful, run more successful affiliates than I do, can come in and contribute, that to me is helping the affiliate owners continue to put food on their table, make lots and lots and lots of money. I want them to make lots of money, so much money. So that way they could continue their mission of helping more and more people. Because a lot of the affiliate owners that I run into, and the ones that are in the school platform, and the ones that I have conversations with, if I gave those affiliate owners right now and cut them a check for $500,000, you better believe a shitload of that money, if not all of it, would probably dump right into their own businesses. Okay. Souza, how much money do you make? I've contemplated talking about this before. You talking daily or monthly? You want to know how much the income is monthly or daily? And then the real question is there, because I could give you one number and it'd be like, whoa. And the real question is it gross or is it net? But the point being is one of the things that I hate hearing is when people say, oh, I'm gonna be a coach, as an in-between job. I don't until I get a real job. I'm gonna do an affiliate owner as a part time. I'm gonna get blah 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 blah. Right. And I want to change that sentiment. I don't want it to be something that is a part-time job or is just a passion project. I want an affiliate owner and I want coaches to have meaningful careers that they could do for a lifetime and that they can make great money doing it. And I think that that's possible. Pat Lang yearly, 500,000. Exactly, to the penny. But you live in California. Yeah, exactly, Franco. So I make a ton of money and at the end of the year, I'm negative. How much do you make on your OnlyFans though? Can you imagine? Probably none. I'd have to pay. How much does your salary fluctuate per month? That's a great question, Jeffrey. My personal salary now, not very much. In the early days, a lot, dude. The first 3 years, 5 years of affiliate ownership, it was like I'd make $100. It's like, yes, gas money. Then the next month you lose $100. You're like, shit, I'm walking. But after the contracts with the fire departments, the other ventures that I have going on, a lot of the stuff that I've been working on over the last 3 years, 2.5 years, I'm starting to be able to monetize. Um, it's getting better. I'll tell you that. Definitely getting better. How many coaches do you have right now that aren't doing it as a hobby or a passion project? Um, I mean, I have a main full coach that gets paid like a livable salary in California, and then my wife and I. And then outside of that, we just brought on another part-time coach, and we're looking for one more. So right now I have two that have been with me for 11 years that both have full-time jobs but coach a couple hours a week. And then I have one that's full-time. It's their only gig, and they make a decent livable salary out of it. And we're going to bring on two more part-time people. So there'll be three people that could do it as a job. And the other two part-times, I'm going to offer up them contracts with other fire departments and police departments. So it'll take a little bit of time, but I do think that if you're committed to it and you continue to develop in the gym and we continue to develop you as a coach to where I'm confident enough that I could just pluck you and put you in a department, then I think I could probably get people close to around 60K starting. And then we could build from there. But it's going to take a little bit of time. And you would have to come in as a paid part-time coach at CFL so we could get everything up to speed and make sure we're good to go. So I hope that answers the question there, Ryan. Elizabeth, what did you do before opening your gym? Bartended, worked at a warehouse, studied everything about CrossFit. And then prior to that, I was a bartender. Prior to that, I was in art school. So full-time degenerate. I'll come on you full-time. Thanks, Ortega. Long-term coach is 11 years. Yes. As a matter of fact, the long-term coaches that I had with me at the start, the only reason they left is because they moved state. They moved out of the state. We have a very good track record. And then the other coaches, like one of my other full-time coaches, I helped her get a job with the fire department. And you have to remember too, like when I sit down with our coaches, part of the whole deal is I want to know what you want to do long term. Like that's important. Like, what do you want to do? What are your goals? Where do you want to be? Do you even have a plan? Have you thought about that? Like any of those type of things, right? So Ryan, that was the biggest decision maker for selling my affiliate. I couldn't justify it as a hobby or my full-time job. Either had to go all in at the gym and take a 50. Yeah, dude. And that sucks because I bet you probably ran a great gym and you were probably really committed to your people. And more, Ryan, more and more affiliate owners are being faced with that decision, especially as shit gets like more expensive, less opportunities for capital, like to go get money or a loan or anything like that. Yeah. So I would say, yeah, I get it. That sucks. It says a lot about you and your community too. Souza, way to go. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Souza, what's your prediction for garage affiliates? Well, I hope garage affiliates capture everybody that they can in their neighborhood, so much so that they have to move out of their garage and even potentially get a brick and mortar. Yeah, I do think, Coach Moose, is there a viable place for them? I do think there's a viable place for affiliate garage gym affiliates. I do. And here's why. Like going back to what Ryan was saying with like the I had to sell my affiliate because I couldn't justify leaving the full-time job, especially like we don't know his situation, but if he has wife or kids or something, like he can't even make that decision because it just would put the family at risk, right? So he had to go with the correct decision, which is making sure that there's sustainable stuff there for the family. So I think right there in that situation, Moose, is exactly how a garage affiliate owners can thrive. Like if you got a decent space and you got a small little clientele and you want to just do it as a part-time thing and you got a full-time job, for me, that's the importance of the garage affiliate owner, because now you can maybe do it before work, you can do it after work, you could do it on the weekends, whatever. You capture friends, family, people that are close by and get them started on that journey. And so I'm in full support of the affiliate garage gym owners. I think that is kind of, I love that story too. Like you give them all the tools for free, all of it. They go through the whole entire thing, eventually end up saving up, take the course, and then, you know, you certify them to train people, quote unquote. And then they go back into their garage and they just start killing it. That's great. And even if they never ever have ambition to go outside of the garage, it's cool too. Like great. Great. Ryan, I think people like you and Two Brain are a huge potential, a huge part of potential success for gyms, and anyone to open an affiliate should budget for that sort of help. Totally agree. Like Two Brain Business as a mentor, and it's ironic because I never paid for the mentorship, but I devoured all the books, all the information that Chris had. And it's honestly because I was so upside down at the time of the affiliate. Like like having money for a mentor, I was in debt. Like I was in debt. And maybe we should save that for another show. Maybe make the title like $100,000 in debt and about to lose a building, how the story of CFL. Anyhow, so plenty of room for the CrossFit ecosystem to grow. Plenty of opportunities. As Meredith said, plenty of the pie to go around. And I think that we could have, as a total ecosystem, I think we could have our best year yet. And I fully believe that. So thank you guys for hanging out, watching the show. Go over to tdcmercantile.com. Use the code Souza15 for 15% off. It will probably not exist after this show or maybe ever again. Franco, last question here. What if all the garage gyms opened near your affiliate? Totally cool with it. Totally cool with it. Because there are no commercial residential around my gym right now. And the ones that are being built there, even if you opened it up, you're not going to compete with me. Come on, let's be real. And I would probably walk down the street and ask you what your long-term goals were, what your vision was. And next thing you know, I'd probably own a percentage of it. So let's not kid ourselves, Franco. Souza sent me. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you very much for hanging out. I hope you kind of enjoyed the show. Took a little 2-week break. Not really, because I did some of the other shows, but just through the holidays and coaching, everything was nuts. Yes, Kevin Doyle, please hit that like button. Please hit the like button. And subscribe. So, Souza, I'm going to come hang out like in real life. Yeah, dude. Come on by. Let me know. You guys have a great rest of your day. Two Brain Business, thank you very much. Matuthian, get it, y'all. Media launch, hit us up if you have any needs for your media marketing. We're killing it. We got a whole entire thing for gyms. And go get your discount at TDC Mercantile. Seth, what's up, dude? Long time no talk. Miss you, buddy. Hope all is well. Alrighty, gang. Thank you very much. You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for hanging out. Be good to each other out there.